Good evening, all of you, and welcome to our webinar on game theory. Now, today we will be giving you an introduction to the game theory, and I think after today's webinar, all of you who are beginners, who have not read about it or studied about it, will get a brief idea about what is game theory all about, because game theory is very important. It was proposed, game theory went on for some time. It was mainly used previously in the theory of economics, but then later, because economics controls many things, and not only economics, there are optimization in every sphere of many subjects. So what happens is that game theory now is used not only in economics, it is used in computer science, theoretical computer science, algorithmic designs like congestion control, and then it is also used in market understanding, or in management it is used in decision making. So there are a lot of in medicines it is used, in developmental biology it is used, and John Nash, one of the biggest mathematicians in recent era, has played a great role. So we will be discussing all these things, and we will give you a model about how actually a toy model type of thing, because it is a vast area of research and a lot of people are working on it in various institutions. But we will give you a toy model, and we will try to make you understand what it is all about. So what is game theory? So game theory as a whole, it is game theory. It deals with not only games, what we mean by like Ludo, Carom, chess boards, or some type of things. It is not only dealing with games, but it takes the essence, it abstracts the game, and it tries to make a thing about winning strategies, how the strategies are used, and how winning criteria is found out logically. So game theory has a lot of players in it. Who play the game. Players are not only playing in the sense that they are playing, as I am telling you, it is not only about game, but it is an abstraction. Using the concept of game, we will be showing you how it is used, and then actually developing a theory out of it. So it has players, and players are perfectly rational. They are not irrational agents. Players are also called agents, and they are perfectly rational. They are rational agents. So they think and do. They don't bluntly do anything. They understand what they are doing and they try to do. And based on this topic, these aspects, based on this rationality, only the full game theory rests on. And there are strategies. Strategies are more like options. Options or choices available. So we will be seeing what do we understand by options, what are the choices, and then if a player uses a particular strategy, either he gains or he loses something. So that is the thing. Either he gains out of this using this particular strategy, or a combination of strategies, or he loses. So that whatever he gains or whatever he loses is called as payoff. So these are the three terms: payoff, strategies, and players or the agent, that makes the game theory, that makes the foundation of game theory, and from which the full model of game theory is developed. Now, game theory has two approaches. Before we go into fair details, we will just give an overview of what are the different approaches to the game theory. So there are two types of game theory. One is called a cooperative model. And another is called a non-cooperative model. Actually, this actually find out a smart solution for use of strategy. This finds out a smart solution, and it is competitive model. Just click on, we will explain all these terms, and maybe you will appreciate after some time. And this is actually, it has to do, it doesn't give smart solution, it gives fair solution. It is like a group of players, a group of agents, they cooperate with each other for a general good for the full group of players who are playing. So it is a fair model, and it gives rise to it is non-competitive model, it is a cooperative model. And today actually we will be discussing more of the non-cooperative model, that is the competitive model, and so we will just give an overview of what is the cooperative model, and we will not go into very much detail of this other things. So in this cooperative model, we have a group of nations coming together, and we have our climate change decisions or strategies are developed by all the group of nations together. They use this cooperative model. But in market, like oil prices or share prices, or in fact decisions of hiring a group of people or retaining a product, or which, for example, in our computer processor development, we have previously used to have complex instruction sets. Now we have reduced instruction sets for computers. Now, how is these instructions used? All these are based on the competitive model. So we will be discussing the competitive model. Now, as I have said you, that game theory has to do with competitive model game theory has to do with the player who are rational. That is the first thing. And then the thing is that they actually have only their self-interest. They don't bother much about the full group interest. But there are models where actually self-interest and group interest both are taken into account. That we will show you a small thing about how it works. But in general, actually, non-competitive model, the agents or the players are rational players. They are only bothered about how they actually achieve the best out of the situation. That is the non-cooperative model. Now, it is an important thing, like we are always seeing that we go to market and we bargain. Now, for example, I will show you a small clipping just now. I am from Calcutta, so there is a Esplanade area and they have a lot of street hawkers sitting there. And then if you go to buy anything, so the general mantra which is given to us is that whatever they say, whatever price they say, you say the 50% of that price. And then you start bargaining. If they say 100 rupees, you start with 50 rupees. If they say 1000 rupees, start with 500 rupees. And then you start bargaining, and ultimately you go on bargaining and reach a point. And that point is the equilibrium point. Now let us see one such thing which is happening in the fish market of our city, Calcutta. So let us go there. Just have a look at this thing.
এই ট্যাংরাগুলো কত করে? 500 করে। 300 করে হবে না? আচ্ছা, এগুলো কি মাছ? ও, শিঙি মাছ কি এগুলো? শিঙি মাছ কত করে?
700 টাকা 800 টাকা।
আচ্ছা, আর এই মাগুর মাছগুলো? শোল মাছ হ্যাঁ, কত করে?
450 টাকা 400 টাকা।
300 করে হবে না?
কত করে যাচ্ছে? 700।
আর এটা কত করে যাচ্ছে?
তো পাঠার থেকে দাম বেশি।
দাদা, ওইগুলো খেলে শরীর খারাপ হবে। আর এগুলো খেলে আপনার মন মেরে ভালো থাকবে, আর পেটের লিভারটা পরিষ্কার রাখবে।
হ্যাঁ, তোমার ইয়ে থেকে আনছো তো।
আর ওটা
আচ্ছা দাদা,
খাসি মাংস তো মুখ করেছো।
এটা
ভালো লাগে।
এটা কি একই মাছ?
না, এটা আপনার মাগুর মাছ, এটা শিঙি মাছ।
মাগুর মাছ, এটা শিঙি মাছ।
So we are back. As you have seen in the movie, what you have seen is that if one person has visited the fish market, he was interacting with the fishermen who are selling the fish, and he says a price, and the fisherman gives reason for his selling a price. For example, he was asked that why it is so costly. So fisherman says that this, if you eat this fish, and this actually the dialogues which were present there was in Bangla, but fisherman is asking, the person is asking that why can't you sell it for 200 rupees when it is what is the speciality of this fish? Then the fisherman says that no, this fish actually after eating you will not have any problems. anything else if you eat in the same price reduction is available there, then there your health may go, you may have some stomach problem and all those things. So in this way actually strategies get developed, and that is the way actually we will be developing the model. So let us see. We will be discussing one particular problem which is called a prisoner's dilemma. It says two persons who were actually attached to a particular crime, and they fled the scene of crime, and then police got some evidence from gathered some evidence from various sources, and they actually arrested these two persons. So let these two persons be X and Y. X and Y in the sense that they can be anything, like they can be say Tom and John, or they can be Ram and Sham, or anything. So X and Y are the names. Let us give them an abstract name. X and Y are the two persons who are arrested and who are brought into the police custody. And then actually they are two hardcore criminals, and they had done these operations together, but they don't have any care for each other. And they are only bothered about their own self-interest. So when they were arrested, our superintendent of police, they gave them few options. They said that, okay, we have arrested you, but then I give you certain options, and you choose from that option what you would like to do, so that you will be rewarded as per the option. Rewarded, or you will be given immunity or whatever it is. So what were the option? If both of you confess, if both of you say that normally when you are arrested, if it is proved beyond doubt that both of you are arrested, and then both of you will get 2 years of imprisonment. You have to stay in the jail for 2 years. Now, if both of you confess, if you actually say so you will, if you both of you confess, you have to be there in the jail for 2 years. If none of you confess, both of you confess, you have to stay in the jail for say 5 years. And if none of you confess, you have to stay in the jail for 2 years. So if both of you confess, and this is for none of you confess. And in last case, if either of you confess, then actually the person who is confessing will be set free. Confessing person, either the person who has confessed, or person who has confessed will be set free, will be given immunity. He may not serve any imprisonment. Another person will be given 10 years of imprisonment. Now these are the three options available with them. These thieves or whatever these criminals, they are hardcore criminals. They don't have any empathy towards their partner with whom they have done this crime, and these options will be asked to them in an isolated, because this X will not know what Y is saying, and Y will not know what X is saying. So what is the best possible outcome of this particular thing? Now they are not bothered, they are hardcore, and they want their own self-interest first. So they don't know what the other person will tell about, whether he will confess, or he will not confess, or she will confess, or she will not confess. So they don't know that. So if actually both of them confess, it is said that both of them will have 5 years. And if none of them confess, both of them confess, then both will say ill about the other. See, that fellow, I have done that, that fellow came with me, and we both did this. Others will also say like that. So in that way, both of them get 5. But then he doesn't know that other will be quiet or other will be safe. That is doubtful, because they want their own self-interest. So these all are actually fuzzy. Means if neither of them confess, it will only 2 years they will get. Or if either of them confess, 10 years they have to be there. So as per all these situations, the best possible solution from the game theory is that both of them confess, because both of them say about the other, and ultimately both of them serve the 5 years imprisonment. So this particular thing of saying what each will do is said by actually a grid diagram. This is actually available. This is actually explained through a grid diagram. What does it say? It says that if, for example, this is X, this is Y, and this is confess, and this is not confess. These are all. This is again confess, not confess. So it is a grid diagram. You see, in this actually, if what is written here is that both of them, X confesses, Y confesses, and what is the value of that? If both of them confess, we say that both of them get 5 years of imprisonment. If none of them confess, actually one confesses and other doesn't confess, then this confesses, he will be set free, other will be given 10 years imprisonment. In this case, actually, he will be given 10 years, and he or she will be given 10 years imprisonment, and other will be set free. And both of them doesn't confess, then both of them will get actually 2 years of imprisonment. So, as we have seen, this solution that 5 years imprisonment for both of these prisoners comes as an optimum solution as per game theory, because the reason is that they don't know what others will say, they don't trust what others will say, and they are blind to what will be the response of others, and they are only bothered about their own self-interest. They are not bothered about others' good well-being or anything. And so they will try to actually sabotage the others, they will say ill about others, and ultimately both will do the same thing, and ultimately both of them will end up in a 5 years jail. And that is the prisoner's dilemma. Prisoner is in a dilemma, and how actually game theory helps in sorting this dilemma. So that is one thing. Now, sometimes it so happens. So this was so when we formulate this part, how do we do that? A game has a set of players. A game has a set of players. A and B. So there are a set of players, and each player has a set of or what is it called, choices, or a set of choices. Let us call this A1 and A11 and A12. And we have B, and this for A, let us take the set of choices and the set of choices of strategies, and B has say A21, A22. So this can be written as an array of numbers in the way that if we say it like this is for A and this is for B. We have A11, A12, A21, A22. These are the set of choices. For example, this is for A1, A2, and this is for B1, B2. There are two choices. We call it A1, set of choices, say A1 and B2, and A1 and A2. And this is the way actually A has a set of choices and B has a set of choices, and they are given, it can be represented in a array form in this way. Now, there are two players, A and B, and this set of choices is given by A1, A2, B1, B2, and it is represented in this. This is the payoff matrix. What is this called? This is the payoff matrix. What does it mean? If A chooses A1 and B chooses B1, the payoff is A11. If A chooses A2 and B chooses B1, his payoff will be A12. If A chooses A1 and B chooses B2, his payoff will be this one. And if A chooses A2 and B chooses B2, the payoff will be. So this is a matrix. This is an array of numbers, which is in mathematical terms it is called a matrix, and it is the payoff matrix based on the strategy. So in game theory, actually, the decisions are taken based on the strategies and opinion of the other persons. Opinion of the others determine the strategy which I will choose to play the game, or to make myself in a competitive model, to make myself as a winner. My sole objective will be to choose that particular strategy. How people actually play these strategies. So now we come to something called a two-person zero-sum game. So two-person zero-sum game. What does it mean? Means that there are two players. There are only two players. There are only two players. Then each player has a set of strategies. Each player has a set of strategies. If one player loses, the other player wins. Other player wins by the same amount. And the total sum of what we gain and loss is zero. So these are the four axioms, or these are the four basic principles on which actually this two-person zero-sum game is developed. So there are two players. Each player has a set of strategies. There two players are A and B, and they have a set of strategies. Say A has the set of strategies as A1 and A2, and B has a set of strategies as B1 and B2. And there is a payoff matrix. And now I will write the payoff matrix in this way. I will put A here and B here. So it is for me. So B1, B2, A1, B2. Let me write it with the same notation: A11, A12, A2, A22. Now, let us say in this particular game, A starts the game, and then A uses the strategy A1. So he can use either of these two. Then what strategy B will use? So B will use a strategy. See, A wants to actually maximize his gain. A is the person who has started the game. He wants to maximize his game, maximum profit he wants to get from his particular game, more payoff in his particular game. But B, he has to give certain things, means he has to lose. So he will always try that among whatever payoff is available, he'll be always choose the minimum payoff in that particular strategy. So he will, for example, in a if you are not familiar with the array of numbers, this is an array of numbers. Say here I have put A11, A12, A21, A22. These horizontal array of numbers, these are called rows. These are called rows, and they have the vertical sequence. Most of you may know this, but if somebody doesn't know, when I speak, these are called columns. So now, for this particular game, what happens is that A puts up a strategy, then B choose what type of strategy B will choose so that he gets the minimum loss. So he will always choose among the payoff elements of that particular strategy of A the minimum value, and from minimum loss he will try to choose. So from all this minimum loss, what A will choose, he will try to choose so that he will maximize his minimum. So that is called maximum. That is the definition for maximum, because he will choose the minimum loss, and from the minimum loss, maximum of the minimums what he gets, because he doesn't want to lose much. He wants to gain. So he has started the game. He wants that he gets the measure of the payoff. So he will choose the maximum of all the B strategy in the column, whatever is there. If B when he choose through the rows. A when he choose through the column. First he choose the maximum of elements of each column, and then he has to pay. If he has to pay, he will pay the minimum of all these maximum. So we have minimax. One is called minimax, and another is called maximum. Sometimes it do happen, we will be formulating it. Sometimes it do happen that this minimax and maximum are equal. Sometimes it happens that after this making of this choice, the minimax is minimum of all the maximum in the row, and maximum is maximum of all the minimum, and minimax is minimum of all the maximum in the rows. And if these two are equal, if this happens, then it has reached a saddle point. Saddle point, that is an equilibrium position, a saddle point, and that is called the value of the game. That particular from there, based on that, we get the value of the game. So let us see with an example. Say we have two players and both players are playing with a payoff. Say we have player A and the player B. A is say having the strategy A1 and A2, and B is having the strategy B1 and B2. And the payoff matrix is the game is as that they toss the coin. A tosses the coin, B tosses a coin. You can take a coin and toss it. If you get head or if you get tail, based on which the payoff will be determined. So a coin has actually two sides, on the top side and on the bottom side, and say head is there on the top side. That is, then head is there, and if tail comes on the top side, other side, that is now the tail is here, head is here. If tail comes on the top side and head comes below, we have another pair. So head and tail. So what is decided for this particular thing is that if both of them tosses together and both of them gets head, A pays. A started the game, and if both of them are getting head together, B pays A ₹10. If both of them get tail, then B pays A ₹6. If we have either one tail and one head in either side, A gets a head and B gets a tail, or B gets a head and A gets a tail, in that case A pays B ₹5. Now how do we depict this in a 2x2 grid? So the way it is depicted is somewhat like this. We have A and we have player A and we have player B, and we have the strategies B1 and B2. We have the strategies A1 and A2, and we have here we have head. Say the strategies like, instead of B1, B2, A1, A2, let us write it like head, tail, head, tail. So what do we get here? Here is actually head, head, and we have head, tail, tail, head, tail, tail. So how do we write the payoff matrix of this particular array? When it is both are head, then A pays B, A pays B, B pays A 10 rupees. So let us keep that B pays A 10 rupees as positive, and in this case both of them gets paid. B pays A 6 rupees, and then either of them gets head and other get paid. A pays B 5 rupees, so that 5 rupees we put is at negative. So in this way actually we get the payoff matrix as 10 minus 5 minus 5 10. So this is a payoff matrix for a head-tail game where one pays other or vice versa. So that is the way actually we depict the thing. Now let us take one more example as Minimax principle. Let us show you a demonstration of that particular thing. See, we have a payoff matrix. So it is given that, let the game be somewhat like this. We have two players, B. Say, let us put the B here, B and A, and it is not required that both should have only two strategies. They can have any number of strategies. So we have, say, B1, B2, B3, B4, 4 strategies. B has 4 strategies and A has 3 strategies, A1, A2, A3. So if A chooses A1 and B chooses B1, the payoff matrix will be given by this particular cell with this particular position, which is A1, B1, and as per the problem, this is 1. Similarly, I write the payoff matrix for the other things, payoff values for the other things, which is given here. So this is an example, of numerical example of how actually payoff matrix is value of the game is calculated. And let us see whether this reaches a saddle point. And if it reaches a saddle point, the value of the saddle point is the value of the game. Okay, here to solve. This is the game. There are 2 players, player 1, player 2. We have B has 4 strategies and A has 3 strategies. And now let's go forward. So we have now how B has to choose, because B wants to, he has started the game and B has to pay A, and so he will choose a thing which minimizes his loss. He has to give, he has to lose something, he will gain and B will lose. He has started the game, so he has to lose something, so he will minimize the loss. So how do he minimize? He chooses the minimum value from here. So let him choose the minimum value of each row. These are called rows. So here the minimum value is 1, here the minimum value is 4, and here the minimum value is 0. Similarly, then what is the value of maximum? Maximum of minimum value. How much it is? Maximum minimum value is 4. Now here you see other one. In case of A's case, he takes the maximum because he wants to get the maximum profit. So maximum is 7. Here maximum is also 7. Here maximum is actually 4. Here maximum is 5. So in this case actually we have seen that this is the maximum value, and in this case what we see, we have to find out the minimax value. Minimax value, and minimax is minimum of all this maximum. So minimum is here, it is 4. So thus what we observe is that in this particular game, minimax equals maximum. So in this case we have reached, this is the saddle point, and the value of the game B is 4. So this is the way actually zero sum 2-person or 2-player game is solved. But it is not always required that they choose the games with perfect certainty. So let us see a game where actually they choose with some type of uncertainty. So let us see one more clipping in this regard.
मैंने कहा था क्या बोलता है? बात तो सकते हैं। इसे साला को छोड़ दो, ये साला को छोड़ दे और अस्पताल ले गए तो बुलाया 4 महीने के अंदर क्या मामला है तो बोल निकाल लो अस्पताल ले बात
So now you have seen in this particular small movie section which was shown to you that there are 2 persons in the scene and they have somehow fought and they got one police inspector injured and they are perfectly rational, but they are seeing what to do with this fellow who has, they want to set themselves free, they don't want to get arrested also, but then they are in a confusion, they are in a dilemma what to do with that, and then they take out a coin. Once they take out a coin, it becomes a matter of chance and they toss the coin, and ultimately they decided that if it is head they will do one particular action, if it is tail they will go for some other particular action. So in that way actually they come to a conclusion. So this is another way of giving a probabilistic approach to this particular game theory. So let us develop a 2-person zero-sum game using probabilistic concept. Now let us see here. So we have same way. Let us write down the P of matrix AB. We have A11, A12, A21, A22. Now how this is written? This is the first row. This is the second row, and this is the first column, and this is the second column. Now, if I designate any of the elements of this particular matrix or array of numbers as A, I, J, where I and J can take the values 1 and 2. So, in this case, you can see that this is first row, first column, first row, second column, second row, first column, second row, second column. So, this is just for the clarity of how do we define the notations. Now, coming back to our problem, let the strategies of AB, let me write it with a different color so that it looks better. Strategies of AB, A1, A2, and strategies of B, B1 and B2. And further, let us introduce the condition that A chooses, or let me write it here, A chooses the strategy A1 with probability P1 and strategy A2 with probability P2, and we have P1 plus P2 because sum of all the probability should be 1. That is the basic structure of the probabilities. And similarly, we have B. He chooses the strategy P1 with probability Q1, P2 with probability Q2, and we have Q1 plus Q2 is equal to 1. So this is the way actually we choose all the different strategies. Let me again erase some parts. For this particular row, for B's action, the probability structure for this strategy choosing will be somewhat like A11 Q1 plus A12 Q2. And similarly for this one, A21 Q1 plus A22 Q2. Similarly for each column, this point of action will be something like A11 P1 plus A21 P2. And similarly here A11 P1, A12 P1 plus A22 P2. Now we have to have maximum and minimax principle. So since this is the way, each row should be greater than, because he will try to minimize his loss. So it should be greater than equal to the value of the game. Similarly, it should be also B is the value of the game. Similarly, for each column, we have this should be less than equal to the and this also should be less than equal to B. The reason for all this less than equal to, because he wants to maximize, so he wants to get more value. Either it should be equal to the value of the game or more. His willingness, or he expects more to get from the situation. So he is using greater than equal. But B wants to minimize his loss. So he wants to either it should be V or less than V. He wants to minimize it. So for the shape of solving this problem, what we have to do is that we have to change this inequality to the form of equality. So we have the equation somewhat like A11P1 plus A21P2 equal to V. A12P1 plus A22P2 equal to V. A11Q1 plus A12Q2 equal to V. A21Q1 plus A22Q2 equal to V. So we have also the thing like P1 plus P2 equal to 1 and Q1 plus Q2 equal to 1. So what do we do is here we solve this equation, and ultimately we get this in terms of P1 by P2. That you can do it, and I will just give you the result P1 by P2, and similarly you get Q1 by Q2, because you get it by equating these two. What do we do is that I will do one for you, other one you can do it. A11 P1 plus A21 P2 is equal to A12 P1 plus A22 P2. So this is the equality, because both are equal to the value of the game by the way we have formulated. And so we have A12 minus A11 minus A12 P1 is equal to A22 minus A21 P2, and therefore we have P1 by P2 is equal to A22 minus A21 by A11 minus A12. Similarly, we have Q1 by Q2 is equal to, if you make this particular formulation, if you get it like this, that you have say A11 Q1 plus A12 Q2 is equal to A21 Q1 plus A22 Q2. So we have A11 minus A21 Q1 is equal to A22 minus A12 Q2. So we have Q1 by Q2 is equal to A22 minus A12 by A11 minus A21. Now how do we get P and Q from all this? Have it like P1 by P1 plus P2 is equal to, what we have done is that here A22 minus A21 by these two you add it, A22 minus A21 plus A11 minus A12. So we have here A22 minus A21 by A22 plus A11. This is easy to remember, minus A12 plus A21. So this way you can remember that you can get the value of P, because P1 plus P2 is 1. So P1 actually gives you this particular value. So similarly you can get Q1 and Q2, both you can do, and ultimately you can solve the value of the game in this particular way. So numerically you can do. Now for example, same thing, if you want numerically, we can put numerical figures, but I think we will not do that, because then that will have a lot of time. But it is very easy, that same formulation you have to apply in numerical numbers, so it can be solved numerically. We have some other concepts also to share with you. So when this saddle point was generalized by Nash for his doctoral thesis, he wrote a 28-page dissertation on this particular topic. And the history says that how he got this idea, he was going on searching for some ideas, and how he got the concept of governing dynamics. So let us see clipping from the movie Beautiful Mind, which illustrates this particular thing very properly.
Deep breaths. Yes, you might want to stop shuffling your papers for 5 seconds.
I will not buy you gentlemen beer.
Oh, we're not here for beer, my friend.
Oh. Anyone else feel shooting in slow motion?
Should we say swords, gentlemen? Pistols at dawn.
Have you remembered nothing? Recall the lessons of Adam Smith, the father of modern economics.
In competition, individualism serves the common good. Exactly. Every man for himself, gentlemen.
And those who strike out are stuck with their friends.
I'm not going to strike out.
You can lead a blonde water, you can't make a friend.
I have to give you some
Alright, somebody go. She's looking over there. She's looking at that.
Alright, I may have to now wait until he opens his mouth. Adam Smith needs nutrition. What are you talking about? If we all go for the blonde, we block each other. Not a single one of us is going to get it. So then we go for the friends. But they will all give us the cold shoulders. Nobody likes the second choice. Why do no one goes for the blonde? We don't get each other's way, and we don't trust the others. And see we win. That's the only way we all get laid. Adam Smith said, the best result we want from everyone who is doing what's best for themselves, right? That's what he says. Incomplete. Because the best result we want from everyone doing what's best for themselves. And this is some way for you to get the blonde on your own. You can go Governing Dynamics. Adam Smith. What's wrong with that? Thank you.
So that you have seen just now a movie clipping, and actually Nash proposes the way actually the governing dynamics of that particular situation occurs. What happens is that if there is a target to be achieved, player goes for the target together. What happens is that they clash with each other and ultimately they don't get into the target. Sometimes what happens is that when they go and don't get the target, they try for a second option. When second option doesn't appear, in that film it was shown that the friends of the blonde, they don't want a second choice, so they again lose the game. But then if they neglect the blonde, they don't care for the blonde, and then they get their own choices, and in that way actually they win. So that was one of the things which was depicted there. So fine. Now we will come to a concept for solving these games, which is called dominance. Dominance is a very creative concept, and it is good. Let us see. Dominance, principle of dominance. What we said is that if there is say two players, player A and player B, and the play has strategies A1, A2, A3, A3, A4. It may have more, and B has B1, B2, B3, B4. Okay, and we have other things like here we have A11, A12, A13, A14, A21, A22, A23, A24, A31, A32, A33, A34, A41, A42, A43, A4, 4. So this is the payoff matrix. He wants to actually minimize. If something is greater than all the elements, if each element of a row is greater than all the elements, corresponding element of some other row, actually we will never choose that particular element. And similarly, in each column, if he has something which is actually less than that, there are some all the elements of certain other column. So this is the column, say V1, elements of V3 are less than some of the elements. He will never choose that column. So what we can do is that we can eliminate those rows and columns, and ultimately we get a reduced matrix. And so working with this is quite easy. So let us use dominance to solve a particular game. Let us take the game. Let me take the value so that it will be illustrated better than showing it as a general case. Let us solve this game using dominance property. Game's payoff matrix is this one. We have B1, B2, B3, A1, A2, A3. So before applying any first thing, actually what we have to do is that we have to see whether it has a saddle point. So if it has a saddle point, we will not proceed further to investigate, because we will get the answer very fast. So let us see for this particular game. We have to find out the minimum, row minima, and column maxima. So the minimum value here is 1, here is 0, and here is again 1. And the maximum value here is 5, here is 7, here is also 7. So this is the max. So minima, minimax of maxima. It is called minimax. Minimax is minimum of maxima is 5, and maxima of minima, maximin among all this, maximin is 1. So minimax is not equal to maximin. So this game, as such, this game does not have a saddle point. But we are finding out the value of the game for what? For pure strategies. This game does not have a saddle point for pure strategies. A1, A2, A3, single for pure strategies. So we have to go for big strategies, as we have done with probability P1, P2, and all those things. So in that way, mixed strategies will be done. So pure strategies do not have a value of the game. So let us try to, instead of working with such a big or bigger matrix, it is better to actually reduce the matrix, and that actually happens using our dominance. And sometimes it gives the answer itself using dominance. So how do we use this dominance property? Let us see. So whichever column or whichever row, in case of row, whichever row is actually less than a particular row, that is that particular row is said to be dominated. Similarly, whichever column is greater than a particular column, that column is said to be dominated. So we will see that in this particular this one, you see the value. Let us compare the values item by item. 1 is less than equal to 2. We have to get the minimum. 0 is less than equal to 7, and 5 is less than equal to 6. So what happens is that less than, not less than equal to, less than. So what happens is that he will never use this because he wants to minimize. So he or she will only be using this particular or some other combination of this. So in this case, actually, this particular thing is the dominant of this payoff matrix. So this column can be removed by the principle of dominance. Once you remove this column, what you get is that you get a resultant matrix. It is somewhat like this: A1, A2, A3, B1, B2, and we get the payoff matrix somewhat like this: 1, 7, 0, 2, 5, 1. Now again we will have, for example, this we have seen that whether one particular column is actually greater than each element of a particular column is greater than some other element. Now you see here whether each element is less than, whether like that anything is possible. See the property here: 0, 0 is less than, see 0 is less than equal to 1, and 2 is less than equal to 7, but he wants to always maximize. He wants to maximize his gain. So this particular column, this particular row get deleted by again the property of dominance. Ultimately, it is reduces to this one: A1, A3, and B1, B2, and then we have 1, 7, 5, 1. So this is a 2 by 2 game, and this can be actually solved by the previous method that we have seen, and we can get the value of the game from there. Either since it is normal values is not available, we have to have the mixed strategies. He can choose with the probability P1 and P2 and Q1 and Q2. I'm sorry, this should be Q1 and Q2 and P1 and P2. And ultimately, he can solve the game and get the particular thing. Now, a little more about strategies. Let us see. Let us focus, say, on one of the games. So we see a carom board here, and I and my friend Joel is sitting here, and we are trying to actually defend. So my friend Joel is having the black, this one, with the, he has to strike the black discs, and I have to strike the white. That is my one. So we have a peculiar situation. We were playing actually, and in between my class came, so I had to leave and I had to come for the class. But anyway, let us see how our friend Joel tries to hit one particular thing. So he's trying to hit the black one, and he has to hit in such a way, in such a particular angle, that it only black falls and white actually gets escaped. White doesn't fall. So let me try my luck. I have also hit one. So in this way, actually, we are choosing a particular angle. We are choosing a strategy of actually how do we play the game. Sometimes what happens is that we have a matrix which we can solve, but it doesn't end up with a 2 by 2 or many by many matrix which can be reduced by dominance, and it doesn't have a value, and it can't be reduced by dominance. So the payoff matrix, I'm sorry, 1 minute. The game is given, say 2 by m, that is number of rows are 2 and number of column is m, is column. A game is of this sort, say A1, A2, and B1, B2, B3, it goes on till Bn. So we have a payoff matrix somewhat like this. Or it can have a payoff matrix, say n by 2. So number of rows is n, and number of column is 2. In that case, the game appears somewhat like this. We have a game B1 and B2. Then we have A1, A2, A3, A4, and so on, so An. So these are the two values, and so we have payoff matrix, say A11, A12, A13, A1M, A21, A22, A23, A2N. So instead of A, if I use letter B, so this we have, say, B11, B12, B21, B21, B22, C, B31, B3 2, B4 1, B4 2, and so and so. N1, N2. So how to actually get through these types of situation? One of the process to go through these types of situation is by graphical method. So we have probabilities. Let us take this one, A2 by N game. Let us for the timing be quiet about the other one. We will be just giving you what to do with the other one, but let me explain you how to use the graphical method to solve this type of game. So what do we do is that, so let the probability with which A chooses is P1, strategy P2. So A chooses the probability A1 with probability P1. A chooses the probability strategy A2 with probability P2. We have P1 plus P2 is equal to 1. And how is the game determined? B chooses B1. The value of the particular choice, EP1 becomes, what does it become? A11 P1 plus A21 P2. Similarly, when he chooses B2, we have one more value of EB2. Say E1, we can put this one. E2, we can put somewhat like this. P1 as A12 P1 plus A22 P2. So this goes on, and ultimately we have the last one, that is we have the BEN. Let us call it P1 as A1M P1 plus A2M P2. These are all the possibilities which actually we have to construct a particular situation to find out the value of the game. So what do? We have to find out the minimum of all these things. How it is found out? So we draw two parallel lines. Now when we draw this particular situation, what happens is that we can write it in this form: A11 P1 plus A21 1 minus P1, because P1 plus P2 is equal to 1. So that becomes equal to, if I write it in a different colored pens, it becomes equal to A11 plus A21 P1 minus A21 A21 plus A21, I'm sorry. This is minus. So A11 minus A21 P1 plus A21. Similarly, we have here this one also. We can write it in that particular way. A12 minus A22 P1 plus A22. Okay, so in that way we can go on constructing and we can write, and ultimately let us put that this particular, these are the two lines where we have put P1 is equal to 0 and P1 is equal to 1. We can do two lines, and we can actually calibrate it in the sense that we can make an axis and we can put origin, we can put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and so and so. Here we can put -1, -2, -3, -4, and similarly we can, this corresponds to P1, we can put here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and we have -1, -2, -3, -4, -5 and so and so. So we have, now we have to plot these, because these are actually equations of line in having a variable. Equation of line is of the form mx y is equal to mx plus some constant c. So we have in this case say E1 P1 is equal to something, m is some number, something of this number, into P1 plus some number, let's say c. So these are all numbers, and P1 is the variable which takes the number either 0 or 1. So in this actually we find out the value of E1 0 and E1 1 So whatever is the value, we plot it, and ultimately actually we can get, if we plot E1 0. So here we have to find E of P1 0, and P1 is equal to 0. So EI of P, say EI, sum of this E1, E2, E3, sum of this P1 equal to 0. So we get some value AI. So we plot it there, and similarly EJ, P1 equal to 0, equal to AJ. We plot it there. So let me take an example and show you instead of writing 1, 2, and 3, so that it will be confusing. So let us do one particular problem which will be interesting for all of you. So let us take this problem. We have more than 2 strategies. A has 2 strategies and B has more than 2 strategies. So it is somewhat like this. Let us have the game as A1, A2, and the payoff matrix. This is A, this is B. Let me write it like this. We have B1, B2, B3, B4, and we have 2, 1, 2, 1, 0, minus 2, and 1, 0, 3, 2. So A chooses A1 with probability P1, A chooses A2 with probability P2. So what are the different equations based on which actually he will be working? So when he chooses E1, so his payoff will be somewhat like this: E1 P1 equal to 2P1 plus P2, that is 2 into P1 plus 1 minus P1, that is P1 plus 1. So that becomes E1. Similarly, we have E2 P1. What is that? E2 is second strategy. We chooses the second strategy. What is the total payoff? So payoff is somewhat like P1 plus 0 into P2. So that becomes P1. Then we have E3 with P1. That is 0 is the first part plus P2 into 3. So we have 1 minus P1 into 3. That is minus 3 P1 plus 3. Similarly, we have E4 P1 is equal to, E4 is minus 2 P1 plus 2 P2, that is minus 2 P1 plus 1 minus P1 into 2. I'm sorry, let me write 2 first so that it becomes clear. Minus 2 P1 plus 2 minus 2 P1. So minus 4 P1 plus 2. So we have all these 4 equations. Now as we have seen, as I told you, that we will be plotting. We will be plotting P1 equal to 0, P1 equal to 1. So let me make a grid of it. This is the origin 0, 0, and let me put as, these are lines. It is labeled as P1 is equal to 1, P1 is equal to 0, P1 is equal to 1. Let me write this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on and so. Similarly, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think my calibration is unequal here. So let me redraw the calibration. So I put here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Similarly, here minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, and here also we have minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4. So when we put P1 is equal to 1, E1 0, if you put, it becomes 1. E1 1, if you put, it becomes 2. So E1 0, in that P1 is equal to 0, E1 0 is 1. So this is the point, and E1 1 is 2. This is the point. So we draw a line joining these 2 points. We draw a line joining these 2 points. So now similarly we have the next one. We have here only P1 is there. So when P1 is equal to 0, so we have the origin. We have the origin here, and then P1 is equal to 1. We have it here. So we join these 2 points. This is E2. This is E1. Similarly, we have E3. E1 2. I'm sorry. This is E1. Now E3 0. What is E3? E3 0 means 3. E3 1 means 0. E3 0 is 3. So we have here, and E3 1 is 0. We have here. So we draw like this one line, and this is E3. Similarly, we have E4. E4 is this equation. If you put P1 is equal to 0, we have E4 0 is equal to 2. E4 1 is equal to -2. E4 0 is equal to 2. E4 1 is equal to -2. So we have E4 here. Now, getting all this, we have to choose. P has to choose a strategy so that it is the maximum of the minimum. So it is the intersection point. This is the lower envelope. This line, these 2 lines are lower envelope, and they meet at one point. So which are the 2 strategies ultimately chosen? So this is the intersection of E4 and E2. So this E2 is this line, E4 is this line. So these are the 2 strategies ultimately chosen. So E4 is corresponding to E4, and E2 E2 corresponds to this one. So ultimately this reduces, this payoff matrix reduces to say like this. We have these 2 strategies are chosen, B2 and B4, and we have A1 and A2, and we have 1, -2, and 0, 2. And this is a 2x2 game which can be solved by using the method which we have already discussed. So this is one thing. This is the way actually graphical method is used. Now, if we have, instead of a row over this one, if we have a column means B chooses 2 strategies, B1, B2, and A chooses a number of strategies, A1, A2, A3, say ... AN. So what do we do in that particular case, AN or AM, whatever it is? Then we take the upper, because he wants to maximize his profit, and he wants to take, so he will take the upper envelope of that, and the minimum point of that, minimax principle will be applied. Max will be taken, minimum point, and ultimately he will get those strategies with which actually he can reduce the payoff matrix, and ultimately he can solve the game. So this is the way actually it is done. Now, how do we actually like strategy choice? Let us see one more movie in which actually while playing cards, just all these things are actually involving a lot of strategic thing. So we will again show you. Let us see this particular game of playing cards, and you see how actually the strategies are used to the value of the game. So here you are seeing that in cards, and generally as it is getting shuffled, they are shuffled, and we have 2 players, and there are some rules of the game which are being followed, and each of these they are sharing the cards before they start to play the game, and now they have, both of them have a group of cards in their hand, and then each of them actually puts down a card based on a certain strategy, knowing that he or she wants to win the particular game. So their strategies are actually, they are not knowing what the other person will throw before actually, because they are not aware of which strategy other person will use, but both are rational agents here, and both actually are trying to win the game. So in this particular game, actually, the strategy choice is also very important, as it is shown here, and you can see as the game goes on, and ultimately you see that one person ultimately he counts, and ultimately he gives the value of the game, and the person who wins. So now ultimately the last thing which we will be discussing today before we close is that we had actually two strategies taken by one player and a number of strategies taken by other player, and we have followed. And in this case, actually, we have to reduce the game to a two-person game, and once we reduce the two-person game, we can apply the previous techniques to solve this particular thing. What happens if we have a pay matrix of the order m by n? So this can't be solved by graphical method, and second thing is that it doesn't have a saddle point, and third, it can't be solved with pure strategies, and third thing is that dominance principle can't be used. Dominance, nothing in dominance principle is getting applied either to rows or columns. So in that case, what do we do? So we have a payoff matrix of this particular thing. Say we have a person A and player A and player B, and A has, say, B has B1, B2, B3, Bm, and A has, these are the strategies, A1, A2, A3, An. So all this is the payoff matrix: A1, 2, A1, 3, A1, M, A2, 1, A2, 2, A2, 3, A2, N, A3, 1, A3, 2, A3, 3, A3, M, AN1, I'm sorry, AN1, AN2, AN3, and ANM. So, I'm sorry, here we should put M. So we have M plus N equations, and the value for each of these particular strategy choice can be written as, say we have a number of probabilities, say P1, P has a probability, say P1, let me have the probabilities with a different color, say P1, probability P2, probability P3 for A strategy choice, Pn, and we have for other one, we have Q1, Q2, Q3, Qn. And so we have a set of M plus N equations in M plus N unknown. So we have the first one as say we have value of the game for first one, E1, something like this, A11 P1 plus A21 P2 plus A31 P3 plus dot plus AN1 Pn. Similarly, we have A21 A12 P1 plus A22 P2 A33 32 P3 and so on. So similarly, we have 2 and I'm sorry, a N2. Like that, we have n equations, and each of this equation is such that it is less than equal to value of the game, So similarly, we have other equations like from each row we have A11 Q1 plus A12 Q2 plus A13 Q3 plus dot plus A1M QM is greater than equal to value of the game V. So we have like this some more equations. I will just write it one more, and we will A21 Q1 plus A22 Q2 plus A23 Q3 plus dot plus A2M QM greater than equal to B. So similarly, we have equations, n equations. Here we have m equations. Now we will make all this as an equality and we have m plus n equations in m plus n variables, which can be ultimately solved to get the value of P1, and we have additional equations like P1, P2, P3, dot dot dot, Pn is equal to 1, Q1, Q2, Q3, dot dot dot, Qm equal to 1. So sum of all the probabilities are 1, and ultimately this is the algebraic method of solving it. So let me, before concluding, let me recapitulate what we have been discussing for last some time. A game actually involves a certain number of players who are also called rational agents. They are the agents. They actually are fully aware of their own strategies, and they want to win. In non-cooperative games, that is, they are actually bothered about their own individual payoffs to increase. They want the outcomes, maximum outcome on their own side. So in that case, non-cooperative games, we have all this number of players, and we have a number of strategies, and we have a number of payoff matrix. So that is about. And before we conclude, so then we have developed all these formulations as we have seen, and they are all about the non-cooperative games. Now I have not spoken anything about cooperative games, but I will just say you that cooperative games doesn't have a Nash equilibrium, but it has Shapley value in the sense that it is about fairness. That if a group of people comes, and if somebody actually, if from a group of people, say 10 people are there, all of them are working together to produce chocolates. And if one of them actually fails to come show up one day, whether they are sick or something of that sort. So if they are generally all of them work together, they produce say 500 chocolates, and one day when one of them didn't come, they produce 450 chocolates. So component responsible for one person is actually marginal contribution of one person is actually 50. So like that, marginal contribution of each of the agents in that cooperative situation is at a 10. And if the agents are replaceable, for example, if two agents are having the same marginal contribution, if A and B and C and so on, and if we replace A by B, the total give and take policy will remain the same. If somebody is not contributing anything, if they are dormant has a 0 value. And so these are some of the axioms on which actually cooperative game is developed, and they have one more formulation, a separate way of doing the thing, and they also get some values, which is the vector. I hope that today, if at all, if you have gone through the full session, you patiently sat, you came to know what is a game, and a few of the techniques which is used, what are the strategies, and what are the strategies to actually solve a zero-sum game. There are complex strategies, there are complex restrictions involved, and that involves more formulation that we have not. We have just made the toy model, that is the initial introduction to game theory. If you have any questions to ask, you can ask me before we come. Any questions? Okay, if you don't have questions, then I think we will conclude today. Today, this is a part of the STEM education program which we are doing for a week, and today was the first day, game theory. We have robotics, we have chemistry of cosmetics, we have chemistry of kitchen chemistry, and we also have a demo on collisions on the last day. All of you are invited to join. The link is same for all this program. So thank you for participating with us.